First step in making an awesome meatloaf is I'm going to dice up an onion here. So deskin the onion, of course, bisect it in half, chop off the ends, and then make thin slices one way. There's a piece of scrap there, just getting rid of it, but gonna make some slices this way. And once you slice one way as thin as possible, turn it 90 degrees, and then make slices the other way, and this will make a nice diced onion. Make sure you don't chop any fingers off. Here's an orange pepper we're also going to use in there. Chop off the head and get those off. Bisect the pepper. Get rid of this innard part here. We're not going to use that. We don't need any seeds. And thinly slice the pepper as well as you can. And you want nice thin diced pepper and onion so it mixes easy with the meat. You don't want big chunks. You want little chunks, little diced pieces there. Once you make the nice thin slices, turn it again 90 degrees. You're gonna make the slice the other way to make the diced. And when you do this nice rocking motion with the chef's knife, the tip never leaves the cutting board. It just stays in contact the whole time. And once you have all those chopped up, we can set them aside. Now we're gonna put 2 pounds of meat in a mixing bowl here. I'm just mixing it up a little bit, and I'm gonna make a little indentation in the middle for all the ingredients to go to before we start the mixing process there. And we're gonna start with the breadcrumbs as a 3/4 cup measuring cup right there. I'm gonna fill it twice because I'm doubling the recipe really. Doesn't have to be super precise, just good guesstimator there. Then add some kosher salt to the mix, a couple pinches. Some fresh ground pepper. A little bit of parsley, not too much. Add the onions and the pepper. 1 egg. Some spicy mustard. And ketchup. Definitely make sure you get the moisture in there. I made a meatloaf once as a kid and I forgot to put the ketchup in it, and that was the worst meatloaf I've ever had. Preliminary mixing with the fork right here, just getting all the ingredients mixed together, getting the wet stuff off the bottom, and then to the hands. Gotta mix it with the hands. It's the only way to get a meatloaf mixed. I've consulted with experts. He told me this is the only way to do it. And once I'm done with that, I'm gonna actually divide it into 2 halves because I like to make smaller meatloafs so they cook thoroughly. I have a cookie sheet here with a piece of parchment paper on it, and I'm just taking half of that meatloaf concoction there, mixing it together, pounding it together to kind of firm it up. And then I'm gonna place it on there and pat it down into a loaf form. That looks pretty good. Let's do the same thing with the other side there. You see some of the onions and peppers fell off. It's okay, don't worry about it. And we're gonna add some barbecue sauce to the top. A little bunch there, it's okay. Barbecue sauce never hurt anyone. Spread it out with a basting brush. Get all that goodness all over all the meat. And now insert that into a 350-degree oven in the middle rack for 50 minutes. Next to the potatoes. Go ahead and cube up some potatoes. I have some Yukon Gold here, and I also have a sweet potato. We're going to mix those together all in one big mixing bowl. So just have a large mixing bowl to the side and placing those into as I cut them. With the sweet potato, make sure your hand is firmly on the top. Do not get your fingers on the side or underneath it. You will cut yourself. Sweet potatoes are definitely harder to cut than a regular potato when they are raw. So take your time, don't rush this. Use the knife to your advantage. Now they're in the mixing bowl, add some kosher salt, fresh ground pepper, parsley, paprika, as much as you want. You can always add some other spices to this as well if you want. And then finally some olive oil here. I like to do the spinning motion with the bowl. It's just fun, I don't know why. Mix it thoroughly to make sure all the potatoes are coated with olive oil and the seasonings. And then place that on a cookie sheet lined with a piece of parchment paper. Parchment paper is going to come in really handy later on when you want to transfer it to your serving bowl, and then just shake it out to get to a single layer there. And we're going to place that into a 400-degree oven for about 30 minutes or until the potatoes are tender. Make sure you check it once in a while. You don't want to overcook the potatoes. Yeah, looking good there. Let's maybe a couple more minutes. It's just about done. Okay, now the potatoes are done. We're going to take them out. Yeah, those are looking good. So we're going to get a serving bowl, and I just picked up the parchment paper, folded in half, and I am just using that to transfer it easily into the bowl. That's the miracle of the parchment paper right there. It doesn't stick to it, and you are able to pick it up right away out of the oven. And now for the meatloaf. Those are looking good. Take those out, and they are ready to serve. I like to use a lasagna spatula, just what we always use. And here we are, meatloaf and potatoes.